Hi everyone, welcome back to Aspergers from the Inside. If you're new, my name is Paul Mikolev, and I make weekly videos sharing the human side of autism. So make sure you hit subscribe to get the latest content. So, have you ever wondered how people figure out what the social rules are? I know that for myself, I ask myself the question all the time: what are the rules? What am I supposed to be doing in this situation? How can I find out what rules I'm supposed to be following? And then, interestingly enough, there's a problem that comes along with that, because once I know what the rules are, I then notice that a lot of people are not obeying the rules. So what's with that? Have I got the wrong rules? Has someone told me one thing and it's actually not true? In which case I'm thinking, well, that's not good enough. I need to know what the real rules are, not just the theoretical abstract ones. Like, what are the ones that everyone is expecting me to actually follow? And then on the other side, what if I really do know the rules? And what if everyone else, what if a significant number of people are not following the rules? Well, that's not okay either. Why don't they need to follow the rules? And why am I doing this when I don't really have to? When they seem to be getting away with it, and I'm sitting here being the good boy, following the rules, and everyone and sacrificing that when I don't really have to. So these are the questions that I tend to ask from my perspective. But what I've noticed recently is that the neurotypical population don't really do that in the same way. They solve this social problem of how do I know what to do in a completely different way, which I found very interesting. And they essentially use social validation to look at what everyone else is doing and think, am I doing what everyone else is doing or not? And there was an interesting example of this week. So I'm in Melbourne, in Australia, and we've just come out of lockdown from COVID-19. We were under really strict lockdown for months, like 4 or 5 months or something like that. We had everyone had to stay home. We had to wear masks. We even had a curfew, had to be home by 8 o'clock. It was pretty severe. Whereas now we get to walk outside and we don't even need masks outside because we've finally got the situation under control after many, many, many months. And it's interesting because I know what the rules say. The rules say that I can go for a walk outside and I don't need to wear a mask. But it feels weird because there's something that is wanting some validation that everyone else is also on the same board with these rules. And I was speaking to a friend the other day, and she was saying that it wasn't enough for her to know the rules. She was looking around for social validation. Is everyone else following this rule as well? Because if I'm looking around and everyone else is wearing a mask, maybe I should wear a mask too, even though I know I technically, under the rules, know I don't need to. And I thought that was interesting because would I do that? I would be more likely to be the kind of person that walks around telling everyone, hey, you don't need to do that. Hey, the rules are different. You're not following the rules. The rules say you don't need to wear a mask. You shouldn't wear a mask because, right? And I would be almost educating people on what the rules are when they're not following the rules, instead of taking my cue from what the vast majority of people are doing. And I can remember a time in primary school that is very vivid in my memory, that only is now making sense in hindsight. And for those of us who discovered autism later in life, the lens of understanding autism and learning about all of these differences can shed a lot of light onto things that seemed previously to be a little bit strange or hard to understand. So I can remember I was in primary school and we were doing like an end of year ceremony, like a graduation or something. And I remember we were trained what to do. We had a dress rehearsal. We each had a candle. We walked here. We stood here. We knew exactly what we were going to do. And there was a time in the ceremony where what we were supposed to do is we were all supposed to blow out our candle. And I remember very, very specifically, like 30 years later, I blew out my candle at that time and no one else did. And I remember looking around at everyone going, haha, they're all doing it wrong. You're supposed to blow out your candle and you didn't blow it out. You idiots. How could I be the only one in the class who remembered what to do at the right time? How funny is that? I just didn't know. I was ignorant of what was going on, and I just had no idea how. I couldn't even believe that I was the only one to remember. And then, interestingly, afterwards, I asked a friend of mine, how did you not know? You're an intelligent guy. We were like 12 at the time. You're an intelligent guy. How did you not remember to blow out your candle at the right time? I was the only one in the whole class that remembered. And he said, I did remember, but no one else was doing it, so I didn't do it either. And I didn't think that much of it at the time, but that is a radically different way to approach the world, thinking that somehow the social collective can make a decision that can override a rule of the authority of what I'm supposed to do right now. So that's a really interesting concept. And what I've noticed now is that if I am constantly focused on what are the questions of what are the rules, what do I need to do, how can I find out what the rules are, it actually disadvantages me in a lot of ways, because I might be right. And sometimes I am right, actually. An embarrassingly high percentage of the time I am right. But that doesn't help, because I'm the only one who's right and everyone else is over here, in the group. No wonder autism is known to have people to have challenges with relationships and feeling like they belong. And I always feel like I'm on the outside and hard to fit in with people. Because if I'm doing what I know intellectually is the right thing to do, or the official thing to do, and I've ignored what everyone else has collectively, somehow magically, almost on a different wavelength that I haven't picked up, they have understood and communicated with each other and made a decision as a group to ignore this rule, I've completely missed that social validation. I didn't even ask, I didn't even seek out that social validation. So the point, I guess, of why I made this video today is to note that the neurotypical way of doing this and asking this question and getting an answer to the ultimate question of what are the boundaries and social boundaries of what I can and cannot do in a certain situation, is to look for social validation. And I know I personally, I almost detest that idea, especially when I was younger and a little bit more openly judgmental than I am today. I would see that idea as being a sheep and just following everyone else and not having any idea, or not following what you want to do, but just following everyone else instead of actually being your own person. And probably part of that reaction was because I just didn't see what everyone else could see. I was left out of that communication, of that group frequency where they all decided somehow together to do something different. So I should probably wrap up there, but the interesting thing is it's actually really helpful for me as I've learned more about autism and about my own ways of thinking. It's been really helpful to try and let that go to a degree, and to realize that sometimes it's actually really useful to pay more attention to getting that social validation and looking at what other people are doing, to check, I guess, if the rule that I had in my head is actually the one that people are have decided as with consensus that we're all going to follow. So I might leave it there, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you another time. Bye.